Mayor, last night at the special Providence City School Committee meeting, the school committee chose to table their recommendation, and I'm paraphrasing here. The school committee chair cited in a outside the room conversation with media that he trusted in the city council's decision, the implication being that they support Council President Miller. What are your thoughts on that?
This is a decision that's going to be made by the city council, not by the school board. And obviously our school board plays an important role in being a venue for families to voice their opinions about PPSD. And just like this city council, the school board is not all on the same page with this lease. But this is a decision that's being made tonight by the city council, not by the school board. And so the school board president has a point of view, all of the individuals on the school board have a point of view, but this decision and the action that is still pending and the time that we have left is solely with the Providence City Council. Thank you for joining me this morning. I'm joined by City Council Majority Leader Pedro Espinalon. I'm going to make a brief statement on what we expect to be a vote taking place in the City Council tonight. The Councilman is going to make a statement and then we'll answer your questions. So it is incredibly disappointing that what appears to be a majority of the City Council has decided to kill a proposal to provide for children and families in our city. I realize that this lease negotiation has taken on a larger role and has come into the larger debate around charter schools and traditional public schools, but that's not what we're actually trying to advance here tonight in the city. The reality is that the Providence Public School Department identified a need for swing space after they had determined that 99 Kenyon Street, the Carl Laurel School, was not able to meet the needs of the students who used to go there. There was a lot of work, a lot of discussion, a lot of negotiations, all in good faith, that went into this proposal. And it was decided that the Providence Public School Department, which has been talked about many times, is under severe financial constraints. That's before we even take on the risk of future federal funding cuts. That they did not have the resources to do what was necessary to make this school meet their needs. And so there was a lease negotiation that took place with another public school. Excel Academy is a public charter school. We negotiated a very strong lease. We took feedback from the community, from the councilwoman in the area, and we negotiated something that would meet the needs of the city, of its families and students, and of the neighborhood. What we expect will happen tonight will not stop the expansion of this public charter school. It will not provide additional resources to our traditional public schools. It will not make up for the $300,000 a year that it costs to maintain this vacant and dormant building. It will not do anything to help advance the construction projects that we have underway for our other school buildings. And most importantly, it will in no way help or assist the 18,000 pending application for charter seats in this city. These are parents and students who are desperately looking for whatever is the right choice for them. And I don't know about some of the other folks who serve in local government, but I think that we should be listening to what parents and students say. There's a lot of talk. They use all the right words about centering students in their conversation, about lifting up student voices. Well, there's 18,000 students who are looking for a different option in a public school. And thankfully for those students, this isn't going to stop this school's growth. But what it is going to do is financially harm the city, financially harm the school department, and potentially harm the neighborhood with a vacant, blighted, or underutilized building. I understand from the press release that the council president seems to have made up her mind, but we still have a couple hours to go. And I would strongly encourage the other members of the city council, because there are many members of this council who support this proposal, to continue to talk to their colleagues. And I would encourage parents and families in the community to continue to talk to their council people, because that's where this decision is going to be ultimately made in a couple of hours. I'd like to turn the podium over to one of those council people who does listen to parents and families, who does care about the students in his neighborhood. That's Councilman Pedro Espinalon.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. I have seen Councilor President Miller statement from last night, and I confront that with extreme frustration and a hard time understanding. Council President Miller and I personally negotiated terms of this lease for the past 6 months. For her to pull the plug within less than 24 hours of the vote is beyond my comprehension and somewhat confusing. This is a decision that affects hundreds of families in Providence who are desperately seeking high-quality school choices for their children. Financially, this was a very sound agreement for the city and provided much-needed educational space for traditional public schools. In short, it benefited everyone. Excel is prepared to put $80 million in Councilor when it combined lease payments, improvement, utility, and maintenance over the next 35 years. While hardworking families are struggling with new tax burden, it is inexplicable that the council president has announcing that she will be walking away from this lease. I call on my colleagues. We still have time to make the right decision for the families, for the parents, for the children. As the mayor said, there are over 18,000 applications of families that are desperate to better their education of their children. I think it's our responsibility to provide those choices and to provide those opportunities that they are seeking. That's why I stand here today with the mayor. To those that perhaps have already made up their mind to please reconsider. There's a good number of counselors that are standing strong, that are standing with the families and the parents and the children, and they'll be there tonight to voice their support for this lease. This lease is the right lease financially. It's the right lease when it comes to the education of our children. I can describe this lease and this opportunity as a perfect lease and as a perfect opportunity because it comes at the right time that is much needed. Thank you.
We have a good questions.
Mayor, last night at the special Providence City School Committee meeting, the school committee chose to table their recommendation, and I'm paraphrasing here. The school committee chair cited in a outside the room conversation with media that he trusted in the city council's decision, the implication being that they support Council President Miller. What are your thoughts on that?
This is a decision that's going to be made by the city council, not by the school board.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously our school board plays an important role in being a venue for families to voice their opinions about PPSD. And the school, just like this city council, the school board is not all on the same page with this lease. But this is a decision that's being made tonight by the city council, not by the school board. And so the school board president has a point of view, all of the individuals on the school board have a point of view, but this decision and the action that is still pending and the time that we have left is solely with the Providence City Council.
What do you think happened in the last several hours to get her to change her mind and not come to you first about it?
Honestly, I'm also confused or uncertain, like the councilman is. We heard a rumor earlier in the day, and then I read a press release. I've not spoken to the council president, and it is really baffling to me that if she thinks this is going to stop the growth of a public charter school, it's not. If she thinks that this is going to reinvigorate her neighborhood and not have a half-empty blighted building in her neighborhood, it's not. If she thinks that this is going to somehow provide additional resources for the Providence public schools, it will not. This not only doesn't move education forward in the city, it actually creates a bunch of new problems that PPSD, the city, is going to have to solve. And not only has she announced her opposition to this, she's offered no solutions to those other problems. I haven't heard any suggestion about how it is that the Providence Public School Department is going to pay for a new roof on that building, or what the plan is if the HVAC system goes down, or what the alternatives are, because we've gone out to public bid on this building once before, and the only non-education proposal that we received was simultaneously asking for tens of millions of dollars in public subsidy, which we don't have. And then the council, at their request, at her request, commissioned another housing feasibility study that suggested that it wasn't feasible for housing. So what's the plan? She hasn't articulated that to me, to the community, to her colleagues. I don't know what's behind it, but I do know who's going to get hurt. And families are going to get hurt, students are going to get hurt, the neighborhood's going to get hurt, and the city financially is going to get hurt.
Can you also talk about, they wanted this for swing space for public school students, so if that space isn't secured, then where are they going to go, and then how will that further set back other projects?
I expect they will move forward with swing space there. They will only use half the space, and there is currently no budget to pay for it. And so the way in which PPSD, it'll be up to them, and they're going to have to figure this out in the next couple of weeks. As you all know, this just came up last night, and so people are scrambling right now to figure out how to pay for stuff. But it's going to come at the expense of other projects. There's no extra money sitting around, and there's also looming dramatic federal cuts. So the long-term landscape looks scarier, not sunnier. And so this will very likely affect other construction projects, or the construction project for the school that's swinging in there, because the money's going to have to come from some previously allocated budget. Those decisions have not been made yet. We did not expect this outcome. This passed out of committee days ago, and so the expectation was that we were moving forward. So I don't have the answers to those questions right now.
Other than speaking with us right now, what does the next couple of hours look like for you both?
I know there's advocates that are still trying to reach out to their council people, and they should be encouraged to do so. We certainly will continue to reach out to council people, and we're not going to give up until the vote occurs. But the news last night was really jarring, and I guess my hope is that if the council president can change her mind in 24 hours, she can change her mind again in 4 hours.
And there's no other sort of action that you can take as mayor to overturn any decision tonight?
No, if it doesn't pass, there's no way I can compel to move it forward. I guess it's possible that it could be reintroduced, but the school year is starting in 5 weeks, mm-hmm. and so we're going to simply run out of time.
Mayor,
thank you. I just want to add that there's been a lot of misinformation put out there, and I think that played a role in what the outcome is here. To me, this is not about ideology or philosophy pertaining to charter versus traditional public schools. This is about a financial decision that the city council is judged to make, which is through a lease. These seats have already been granted by the Department of Education to Excel Academy. So if they don't do it in this building, they're going to do it somewhere else. Now, the consequences of that is that more than likely they'll be in Providence. So they end up buying a building, and they'll take that building off the tax roll, which will be a loss to the city at a time that we have a financial difficulty. Add that to the cost of maintaining Councilor, which will be a building that more than likely will be shut down, will be boarded up. And add that to the loss that we would have and the lease that we had negotiated, which would have brought in immediately over $100,000 a year. This is $8 million worth of investment in our city, kids' education and the infrastructure. So for this conversation to be shifted to ideology and philosophical concept of charter versus traditional public is completely wrong. It's misinformation. It's the financial lease again. And we were prepared, we continue to be prepared to execute because it's the right financial move for the city. Thank you.
Mayor, another school construction issue came up this week. Gilbert Stewart. Yeah. There was a community group that met. One of your representatives for your office was there. Yeah. Their concerns is about, transparency, their concerns about asbestos, a wide range of errors issued. What are your quick thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, we are in the middle of a once-in-a-generation construction program for new school buildings, and if you haven't been in a new school, you should. They're phenomenal. They're modern learning environments that the kids and the parents of those students love, and it's a statement for how much we care about their future and how much we believe in them. Gilbert Stewart has been slated for demolition for 2 years. There's no students in there. This is not a school community that's being displaced. There are no students there. That building is going to be demoed, and that building is going to be rebuilt. And it is going to be a K-8 dual language school that the neighborhood's going to love. It's going to be phenomenal. And just because the concrete is 100 years old doesn't mean it needs to be saved. And so that's the plan for that building. That's what we're doing. And the outcome's going to be terrific. I was doing a series of community meetings in the midst of the budget. I had a bit of a road show because of the difficult choices we had to make this year. And I remember being in that neighborhood, ostensibly to talk about taxes, but being pressed by advocates of will I commit to additional dual language education because of the incredible benefits that that yields, particularly in our city. And here we are, prepared to deliver on that. And you've got some neighborhood activists who are trying to stop progress just because the concrete is old. And we're not gonna let that happen.
Is there a date certain for the demolition yet, or is that still in process, or are you unaware of that?
I don't know the exact schedule, but the work that's happening right now needs to happen either way. It's a remediation of asbestos and things like that, because when this building was built, they used materials that have since been determined to be unsafe, and you can't just knock a building down that is that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, everybody.